we're here with Adil from Vienna Airport. Welcome. Thanks for taking the time to speak to us.
My pleasure, always.
At the recent Trinity Forum, you made a bit of a splash by being very honest and transparent. And you had some pretty strong views on the state of the industry at the moment,
Yeah.
and the erosion of perhaps traditional partnerships,
Yeah.
and how a lot of people are focusing on driving down costs in order to drive up sales. And you perhaps think that's not quite the way to do things in order for a long-term protection of our industry and growth going forward.
Yeah, I think, having been on the other side for quite a long time, obviously everybody has to reduce costs. There is a very strong correlation for me between reducing costs and reducing sales. I always look from the other point of view, and we've proven it again in Vienna with some operators, with some very big brands, increasing staff, what it has delivered in terms of sales. And we talk about brands that have difficulty to see the growth, where we've got more than double-digit growth, between 30 and 50% on very big brands. So it is about staff.
Yeah.
Because they sell. The till doesn't sell, the store fitting doesn't sell, the bag itself doesn't sell, you need people to sell.
Absolutely, and you mentioned staff there, and perhaps there's not the flair.
The quality of staff.
Yeah, quality of
Yes.
staff, and that goes back to obviously recruitment, but also training. And again, you have some strong views on that and how it's about passion for what you do.
It's about passion and it's not about peanuts. I think.
I like that very much.
But it's the truth. I think that because of the cost-focused business we're driving, people focus too much on cost. Therefore, if you look at the average cost per FTE, how much it has been going down in the last decade, that means you need to find people that travel 30 kilometers to start at 4 o'clock in the morning, that need to be there for 8 hours to be passionate about their thing, and they get a pay which is the same pay as somebody sitting in the supermarket till. Nothing disrespectful to people in the supermarket till, but it is a profession. Selling is an absolute profession, and very good salesperson, I think they should also deserve a good salary.
Be rewarded for that.
It's reward and recognition, and I think also what doesn't happen enough is that people are being recognized for what they do.
And you would say that perhaps Vienna Airport is better at doing some of these things?
I think our business model that we've created in the last couple of years, I think we've got great partnerships. What I said in Trinity is not something that the industry is going backwards in terms of how we treat each other as partners. That's not the case in Vienna, because I think we've got fantastic relationships, whether it is Heinemann, whether it is the big F&B guys. It is a handshake quality.
Yeah.
Because there's trust,
Yeah.
and because we have been able to prove that maybe not having the best infrastructure, but having a model where we look always forward and how can we develop things. And I think that this is different to what's happening out there. Therefore, we invest from our side. We took a lot more risk.
Yeah.
And I think this is also rewards and recognition also in a partnership with our business partners,
Yeah.
that we focus more on, okay, if the business is slow, it's startup phase, okay, then we take a bit less, but when the business grows, then we want to have our fair share.
Absolutely, yeah, that makes sense to me, and I'm sure to an awful lot of other people in the industry. Obviously, customer service is, again, part of this, but it's very difficult because we hear that banded about so much, customer service, the importance of it. But can you give us some sort of concrete things that actually mean good customer service? Being on that other side, as you said. That
Good customer service is when I am somewhere, where I'm either at the airport, and you know we've got the Skytrax award for best airport staff. We've invested a lot of money in customer service. We've focused a lot on the customer's journey. What is good service for me? That when I leave a shop, I have the feeling somebody gave me a magical moment, that I will remember this store. I will remember the person, I will remember Charlotte, that Charlotte really, she went the extra mile. And not because she wanted to get a commission, because she wanted to give you magical moments, she wanted to make you happy. And there are some fantastic examples. It just happens too little, because I think as a salesperson, you need to love what you do. Not only as a salesperson, in whatever profession you have, you need to love what you do. And I think if you do that and you feel the consumer, you feel the customer, you feel our guests at the airports, it's also a difference between treating a passenger as a pax or a guest. I think this is already where it starts. I talk about guests. Because they are our guests, they enter the country through our terminal, they leave the country through our terminal, and we are the country's ambassadors. And I think it starts already very early in the journey, when you think not only as a passenger that delivers so much money, but as a person that uses your infrastructure facility to travel from A to B. And this is for me where customer service starts. Unfortunately, it happens way too little, and I think what I'm going to say now is a bit provocative, but why would people buy at an airport? It is not convenient, price is not relevant anymore, it's a bit irrational, so the only thing that can break that barrier is I go to an airport because first of all I don't have time, and the service is phenomenal. The best service I can get is there.
And of course, as you say, the impulse purchase is...
It is all about impulse and it's all about gifting. But I think this is, if you combine all these, it's very powerful. But for that you need people that understand how to combine those, because it's not about price anymore.
No. And I know, moving on to another issue that plagues the industry, I believe, overbidding. I know you have some pretty strong opinions on that too.
There's always an idiot that pays more. Always. I mean, we in Vienna, we haven't done a lot of tenders because I don't believe in the tender process, because I think that if you know what you want and if you do your job well enough in terms of market research and everything, you don't need to do tenders. Tenders is great to challenge.
In terms of ideas?
In terms of ideas and everything, this is, I think, where tender process is good. But at the end of the day, there's always somebody willing to pay more, whether it is a strategical decision and everything. And I just know that this overbidding process will always become in more workload in terms of negotiating. Sometimes I feel like a doctor, okay? In the morning, you go to your office, you've got your patients lined up. 60% of your meetings in the past, what was it, talking about rent reductions? For me, that is like the medicine is the rent reduction, and I think this is self-inflicted pain, because if you would set barriers like, okay, the barrier is like between X and X%, this is the only level you can move in, then all of a sudden we have to bounce back to creativity, operational efficiency, best in class, customer service, marketing, then all these elements, which is a very big part of the business, to be honest, they become again major. Today they're minor, because today we do big tenders. I think we had a very couple of good examples in the last year where millions have been poured into tenders, and at the end of the day it is page number 47 on the right hand side, the last black number. And I think that's wrong.
It's a shame, even though it's public. What we hear as the press is a completely different version of.
But it's the truth.
But yes, exactly.
It is the honest truth. It is. Yes, it's a bit brutal, but at the end of the day, I think if we look back, who's suffering there? It's a consumer, the customer, because
everyone ultimately suffers. But
yes, but it starts with the customer, then it is the brand, then it is the retailer. The airport suffers, I think, at a much later stage, because the retailer, the airport is the only one that has got some secured guarantees. I mean, the operator doesn't have guarantees. Guarantees that they have to pay. But that's the whole thing, and I think this has destroyed basically our model, because in the past there were no tenders. 15 years ago, I can't remember there were tenders. We were talking as partners, what do you think, how do you want to develop, what do you want to improve, and then all of a sudden the tenders came up, and all of a sudden we started to go away from our principles. There was gentlemen agreements in place. Sure. I don't enter in this territory, you don't enter in mine. What did we do? We entered in that territory, we start to play war. You know where we are?
Yeah.
That's where we are.
Yeah, that's where we are. Well, thank you for taking the time to talk to us today. It's been great having you on TRBusiness.com, and
thank you very much.
I hope to see you soon.
Definitely.